Hi everyone, welcome back to the Wild Wolf Financial Team. This is Jam, and I'll be your financial analyst in gold. Today is the first trading day of the week. It is Monday, December the 14th. Now, I'd like to discuss what's been happening in this month before I move on. Now, we have seen the previous month, which is the beginning of December, as I would call it the Bulls Week. So, in my previous videos, I have mentioned how we've seen gold rise in a very strong bullish momentum. And moving on to the previous week, we have seen gold come down. So it was the bullish week at the beginning of the month, and the previous week has been a very bearish week. So we can come to understand that gold currently at this point in time is having is going down at a more bearish pattern for now. But last week I did discuss about the head and shoulders. I did mention that there were two sessions on the based on the hourly chart that we've seen head and shoulders at the beginning of the week, and we saw another pattern by the end of the week. This also did give us some more of a clear understanding in where the market is moving. Because at this point in time, gold does lose its value, and we do see it go more bearish. So just before I move on, I'd like to first show my charts on to give you a more clear understanding of what I'm talking about. As you can see now, as I mentioned about the head and shoulders, we can see here at this area, which was the last week, we did see gold shoot up $50, and then we did see it fluctuate along the head and shoulders pattern, and gold did lose its value, coming down to the same value that it had gained. So this gives an understanding in which direction the market is moving. And moving on to the previous week. Now, once again, we did see gold fluctuate, forming a head and shoulders pattern. This generally, during this pattern, we would say that the buyers are losing the control, and it was going down. And as a matter of fact, the sellers had pushed gold to on this area, as you can see here. The sellers did push gold to as low as $18.24 per ounce. Now, we did see a rebound here as buyers tried to take charge and to push gold back up. Now, in this zone here, if I scroll back to the previous days and the week, we can see that their gold was within this range. So our resistance back then was 1852, while the support was sitting on 1825. So gold, despite going up $50, it did find its range between this. But today, as you can see here, gold did breach this support level. And at the moment, gold did touch as lows of $18.19 per ounce. Now, as I mentioned about the previous bullish week, and then the last week that I call it as a bearish week, we can see now that gold is following a very bearish pattern here. Now, on my previous videos, I did mention the news and the breaking news and certain economic data that did have an impact on the market. As at some days we had no market moving data, but due to the breaking news, we did experience high volatility in the market. Now, if I give an example, if I go on the daily chart, here, as you can see here, gold was on its bullish week on this area. That was a week before. As a matter of fact, that was the end of last month, November, entering December. Now, at this area, this does indicate that it is having a more of a bearish momentum, despite the market being so volatile. And we can see here of how gold has been trying to correct itself to go back up to the prices that was close to $2,000 an ounce. Now, if I scroll back, we can see here at the beginning of the year of how gold has fluctuated, even though it was in a more of a bullish zone. Now, the bullish pattern it was following was highly interrupted with the at this time, as you can see in March, with the whole pandemic, with the whole coronavirus hitting the world, which gave the global downturn. As we can see here, it did plunge the price back down to as low as $1,470 an ounce. But nonetheless, gold was still trying to reach back to the highs of 2000, and it has reached that area. So I'm referring to this area here. But once again, due to the vaccine announced, as I mentioned in my previous videos, by the Pfizer company, we did see a very strong plunge, a very strong bearish momentum right here. And gold somehow did still continue on its bearish zone. So we can see the whole bearish movement here. As you can see, it's going downwards. Now, if I go back on the hourly chart, I did mention in my previous videos about certain economic data that did affect, and I did explain of the differences of how much gold did increase and how it lost its value. But currently, gold is in the negative zone. Now, meanwhile, Trump requested for another round of coronavirus stimulus checks in the next relief package. Now, this is something far more than we're talking about that's currently on the table, and that is much more than $908 million. So it is still looked into, but it is still also unclear whether it will pass on before the Biden administration is confirmed. So this is something to consider as a point in which direction the market will be moving. In other words, the impact it will have on this precious metal. Now, if I scroll down here, we did come across gold touching, as a matter of fact, testing lows. The sellers did try, this section here, did try to test the price levels at 1825. But as I mentioned previously, it did have a rebound here. But nonetheless, the bearish trend is still continuing. That's coming down this area here. So we can understand that this price was tested. And just today morning, the gold did breach that level. So it did lose its range that it was over the past 2 weeks. As I mentioned here, that this was a zone from here to here. So that's $18.52 to $18.25 per ounce. So now we understand that the price of the gold has breached the level. It has broken the range, as I mentioned before. And gold currently is at the negative zone. Now, the current resistance level is at $18.32 per ounce, whereas its support is on $18.10. So nonetheless, the precious metal is looking more of a bearish direction, as you can see here. This is based on the daily chart. And moving on, just before I'd like to end my video, I'd like to say thank you all of you for watching my video. And if you did like my show, please give us a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe, and we'll be updating you on a daily basis. Have a great day ahead. Thank you very much.